Hello and welcome to the Lytho webinar called AI is coming for your workflow. Let it. We'll wait a couple of seconds or a couple minutes to allow more people to join. We've opened up a little bit early here, so feel free to drop a note in the chat to let us know where you're calling from. Let us know where you're calling from, callers. Tell us what the weather's like. You know, the usual. Look, we got 2 Denver people in the house. Awesome. I'll be out there shortly. My kid lives out there. Got Minnesota. Minnesota, you're supposed to get rain today, right? Southern California, Northern California, North Carolina, some home office of Durham, North Carolina for us. All over. Texas. Wow.
All over the
Everybody.
place.
All over the place. Wisconsin, stormy this morning. Now hot. Oh, good. St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Oh, we should do like the spot the license plate game where you say, did we get all 50 states?
Yeah, check them all off the list.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Akron, nice place to visit. DC, KC. We got a Canadian in the house. Hip hip hooray, I'm a Canadian. Yay, go Canada. All righty. Good morning, good afternoon. I guess we just chopped over to the 12 o'clock zone in the East Coast. It's still morning on the West Coast, so good day to you all is the way that I would actually say that. My name is Helen Baptist, and I am the Chief Strategy and Market Officer for Lytho. I've been on board for about 90 days, 95 days, I think it's counting at. The reason I don't say marketing is because the seat that I hold is responsible for watching the market and making sure that we're in the right place at the right time for our customers and our prospects. So it's the only job in the C-suite, by the way, that has a verb as opposed to a noun in it, right? So you don't have a chief financing officer or chief operating officer, but yes, anyway, you get the idea. Not to sound crazy or anything like that, but along with me is Zach, and I'll get a formal introduction from him in a second. But thank you so much for registering and attending this webinar. We're pretty excited about the work that we've been working on here at Lytho, and we know that AI has impacted all of you. You know it as much as I do, that the creative flow has happened a lot, and so we're going to start this webinar. So first off, I'm going to do your introductions. I'm Helen Baptist. I've introduced myself. I'm a seasoned marketer. I've been a chief operating officer, and MarTech is my jam. I've worked for MarTech companies in the past as well, so Lytho seemed like a natural fit for me. Zach?
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Helen. My name is Zach Varney. I am the technical product manager here at Lytho. And kind of similar, I've been in marketing now for about 8 years. We came over with the Divi acquisition a little over a year ago now. Can't believe that. Very excited to show off some of these features to you guys today.
Okay, so a couple housekeeping things that we're going to take care of. If you have a question, use chat. If you have reactions, use the reactions. I don't know that we'll see them, but that would be great. And then we're going to be sending out the recording for you tomorrow. So if you are not here, you will get it. If you are here and you want to listen back to it, you'll be able to see that tomorrow as well. So look for an email from our marketing team tomorrow. The other thing that I have to do is, because we're doing some forward-looking product capabilities, is that I want to just make sure that you know that there is no guarantees. Not we don't want you to make decisions on purchasing this from us today until we actually come to market with it. So just make sure we're doing the legal thing for our lawyers. That's really what I'm doing here by saying that. So I want to introduce Lytho for those people who have not been here or don't know Lytho, have never heard of us. But I think the key is that Lytho's mission is where creative freedom meets operational control. So all of the the activities on the right side of the screen here are things that we can help with. And really, we want you to know who we build for. We build for in-house creative teams who need to move fast, stay on brand, and scale without the chaos. There is chaos in the world today. I'm experiencing it here. You know, what really has happened in the last 24 months with ChatGPT and other things coming on has really caused a lot of confusion for creative teams and ownership. So everyone is a creator. So we run a state of content operations research every year. And this year's research was really focused for us on AI. And so one of the primary questions, we have two groups of audience. We have external panel, which is made up of mostly B2B SaaS senior leaders versus our customers who are the creative operators, the hands on the keyboard, the people who actually get the work through. And what you see here is that the amount of assets that have increased is significant when you think that everybody of the people that we paneled, 85 to 82% increase. And when you look at it, 21% more, 50% more assets over last year for the external panel, and then 14% for our customers. That is significant. That is doubling the production of creative. And that's, you know, if you don't have good processes, good technology, if you don't have rigor in the way that you're doing things, that can lead to a lot of pain. And so that is chaos first. That's missed deadlines, it's disparate tools, there's overwhelmed teams that are in doing the process in the content lifecycle. There are inefficiencies, there's slow feedback, there's version confusion. How many of you, and I'll say it, have something in your DAM that says final V3, and it's actually says draft at the front of it. So, you know, version confusion happens and there's no audit trail. And then there's brand risk, right? So we're in the process of updating our brand right now. And every time we're making changes, we're updating that in our DAM so that we're in our brand portal so that we can make sure that we're using the most current information from graphic design, from voice, from positioning, etc. And that leads to inconsistent branding, which is really your brand is sacred. And you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is in the best efforts of maintaining and protecting that brand. And of course, lost files. There are files that, you know, somebody wrote an email for the sales team and it's sitting in the sales enablement guy's desktop and it's not in the DAM or it's not in your storage spot. So how do you make sure that you have the most current workable files to work on? And then obviously that AI, when anybody is creating content, is really there's no visibility to anything and in terms of how it's performing, what the metadata might be on it so that it can be tracked, and that it leads to a lot of messy spreadsheets if you don't have the right kinds of tools like Lytho. So what's the solution? Obviously more AI. So let's go get some more AI. Well, so we, as part of our research, we asked where people were investing. And interestingly enough, the external panel was investing throughout all of the content lifecycle. And so AI for collaboration between marketing and teams, that's workflows, right? Approvals of and reviews of work, content generation. What's interesting here is this is the highest, beyond not investing, this is the highest investment level for the for content generation for the Lytho customers. And then what I found really astounding was the non-investment in AI. Now, most of those people that are in that panel or in that group of customers are creative operators, and they are the users of Lytho, obviously. So Lytho looked at this information and said, well, we need to make some strategic investments to make it easier for the volume of work that's coming through, the velocity of the work that's coming through, and the volume, and the volume, right? So all three angles of volume, velocity, and variety is how we think about content and creative coming through. So with that in mind, where does Lytho actually fit in a creative or content strategy? And first, I want to lay out what a content strategy is for you. This content strategy has been looked at by Gartner, and it has been looked at by Forrester, and it aligns with what their philosophies are as well. So the first step is you usually start with a persona or journey, right? And where they are in the journey. Are they at the top of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel? Is it a renewal opportunity? Those kinds of things, so you can understand who they are and what kind of messaging you want to do. Is it the senior is it the senior person you want to sell to? Is it a CISO? Is it is it a consumer that you're actually selling to, and who is that buying committee kind of thing? And then you map that to the stages, right? So top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, what kind of content do you need? Those assets are very different. Thought leadership is at the top from an awareness perspective. Case studies are typically at the bottom of the funnel on a B2B buying journey, right? Reviews are also relevant for B2C. So how do you build the right content for where you want to make somebody move between the stages of the funnel? That then fits into your content calendar and the framework that you're building. It also, ideally, you would be going into a content audit to say, do you actually have content that exists that can address that? And if not, then you're going into a content production workflow. And I'm not going to get into that design perspective because that's content origination in my mind, or it's content atomization, which means you are making, say you have a big white paper and you want to make social posts out of that, and you want to make a web page for that, and you want to write a blog about it. That is content atomization. The other part of that is obviously localization. So if you have to have different disclosure statements for different states, that would be part of content atomization. And then obviously personalization comes into that as well. The last part obviously is content review approval. And yes, it's not always one way. You go back and forth between revisions and revisions and revisions, right? And then you put it into a content storage. That would be the DAM. We call it the library here, but content storage is important. And then you start to think about, oh, tagging and taxonomy and identity and regulatory and all the styles and things like that that have to be there so that you can actually measure the performance of your content and find the content in the library. And then you go to publish and analyze. So where does Lytho actually fit in this content strategy or creative strategy? Obviously, you've got performance analytics and operational analytics. I'll show you where Lytho fits. So we are almost all the way through the content strategy. And I don't think that we've really sat back here at Lytho and sort of figured out where do we play and can we help more? We are not a publishing tool, right? We don't publish social. We're not LinkedIn. We're not Google. But we provide that content, right, from the content storage to be able to go and publish it. We help with personas and journey stage in our briefing capabilities, but that comes from you guys. That's not from us. So I just wanted to lay this out for you so that you could understand where Lytho fits and how we've looked at the world. And so we are actually at a critical inflection point in Lytho's history, as well as your future success. And so when we talk about let AI come for your workflows, we're going to talk about that in a different light from both a native and agentic AI perspective. So the way that we actually started this was to look at who are the teammates that are on a typical content strategy or creative team so that we could understand the jobs that need to be done. And in those jobs, there are specific things. So for example, the brand manager is the person who usually gets the call to say, am I being compliant, right? They're the brand cop. You usually have a compliance person in that group as well, who is content strategist, might do that. So when we started to think about what could we build for inside of Lytho, we said that this is a painful point. Could be done. Brand policing could be done by an agent. We also said that we could be better at creative ops analytics by writing native queries inside of Lytho. This is your data. This is all based on your data. We also said, well, we know a lot of compliance criteria, things like GDPR, ADA, WCAG, those kinds of things, right? So how do we help you guys get faster at getting work through from a compliance perspective? And then the last two that we're going to reveal today is a minor part of the DAM librarian, and we've been a bit cheeky here in terms of the name, right? And the project management overlord. So these are the new teammates that we are going to be offering as part of our product suite in the very near future. So I'm now going to let Zach take over, and he's going to give you a demo of some of the new cool features. If you have questions, put them in here.
Yeah, so we will get to those questions as they come. So we're excited to hear those. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm the technical product manager here. So I get the pleasure of working closely with our engineering and design teams to bring these new AI powered capabilities to life inside of the Lytho solutions. So I'm going to walk you through a couple live demos of how we're actively developing that AI and what we're working on, what's emerging, and where we're headed with all of this. So some of this is pretty close to production and some of it is early prototypes. So you might see some variance in the UI and some buttons, but all of it's focused on a pretty simple mission, which is to help you guys, the creative and marketing teams, move faster, stay on brand, and scale without all the typical marketing chaos. And Helen kind of touched on it, but just as importantly, your data is your data. That's a full stop. We're not using any of your customer data to train any of the public models. So the Anthropics, the ChatGPTs, what you upload stays private and secure. We're building all of these features with your trust in mind. So wanted to emphasize that today. So throughout this, you'll meet a few of the AI teammates that we've created to help teams like yours. And we're going to move over to the workflow tool and showcase how you'll stay focused on your projects. And we'll have the standard Zoom pause to share the screen. Okay. So this is our projects interface. And what you'll notice right here at the top is a new AI interface you can interact with. If you've interacted with an AI chatbot before, this should look fairly familiar. You are able to ask it open-ended questions like what are blockers, different things like that, whatever comes to mind. And then we have some suggested prompts up here that do general things like they say. You can summarize this project, you can generate a recap of activities. I'm going to go ahead and click on summarize this project, and this is going to run. For time's sake, I am going to show you what one of the outputs look like, though that does run pretty quick. So this is one of our project summaries. This summary, what it does is it surfaces timeline clarity, completion percentages, key players, blockers, really everything that you would normally dig through the comments and the assets to find yourself. This now gives it to you in real time without all the noise with it. So this is cool. We're very excited about this. But what happens when you are focused on 10 projects, 20 projects, 30 projects? Let's scale up this example for you real quick. So over here, we're in the report section, which if you're unfamiliar with this, this allows you to create custom reports that are specific to whatever your data needs are, including projects. So we built one report here that is specific to projects. And similar to how it works with a individual project, you'll see this AI Insights chatbot up here at the top. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this report and then I'm going to compare June and July, and it's going to give me a brief. So again, this is going to run. I'm going to show you an example for time's sake. And the output is going to be, again, familiar. You're going to see things like project summaries. You're going to see things like key takeaways. But more importantly, and really where I think this feature shines, is you're going to see things being identified like projects that are consistently delayed in the same phases, repeated blockers showing up across different departments, and any kind of bottleneck tied to specific steps in your workflow. So while the formatting kind of looks like a generalized report here, what you're actually seeing is a strategic overview that's generated instantly by AI built on top of those reports that you've already done some hard work on to create. So this is how AI can manage some of your work and keep you up to date. I want to shift over now to how it can help you manage your content. So we are going to look over into our digital asset manager, our DAM environment, and we're very excited to announce facial recognition inside of the digital asset manager will be available in controlled availability later this month. So this is going to let you search, filter, and track content based on the people in your asset library without needing all the manual tagging of the metadata and all that good stuff. So I'm going to show you how this works. You can see we have this nice shiny new badge that indicates we have some new AI features in here. There are two ways to access this. I'll show you both. And the first way is we'll click over here on our filters bar, and you'll see the new option for facial recognition. So what we'll do here is we're going to select a base image, and we'll do something a little fun. We'll do Mr. Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man himself. And what this is doing in the background, very quickly, as you can see, it is scanning the entire DAM asset library, and it is finding facial matches on the base image and returning those in a filtered view set.
Which is really cool because he came in his younger self as well.
Yeah.
Like, I
So
guess it handles aging better than Botox or something.
I could nerd out for a long time here with this, but that is a really good point. So if you have variances like this with aging is a good one, it actually does a very good job picking that up. This PNG here, just since we're talking about it, is an AI generated one I just found on the internet. And again, I mean, it does a really good job picking up old, new, artistic styles of the image. So very excited about that. You can see Mr. Rob Lowe here as well. So, it can scan the image for multiple faces, which leads me to my next point. Just so you know, this doesn't work just with famous people. You can come into any photo here that you have that has faces that it can detect, and you'll see a new button here, facial recognition. And what it's going to do is you'll click on it, and the behavior is going to behave similar to how you saw it with the single asset. What's cool about this, and you saw it took just a half second longer, but it is matching all of the faces that it sees in this base image and then returning as many results as it can inside of that asset library.
This is a great use case for some of our clients in higher ed and the in the sports teams as well, right? So if you have a
Yes.
sports team and you have somebody who's made an amazing shot or whatever, doing facial recognition on your dam is important.
Yes. Talent tracking across your
Yep,
campaigns,
yep,
rights management audits,
yep.
just usage restrictions, all sorts of good stuff. So we call this one the Dam Librarian, which again, Helen mentioned earlier. And really, this one's built to help scale your content's government without, again, just bogging teams down with a lot of the monotony of searching and finding assets.
Zach, there's a couple questions in the chat that I think I want to pick up.
Yeah.
Can the facial recognition access video?
So video is not ready just yet. That is something I know we've done some proof of concept work around. The images went very quick, and we saw a lot of high success rate on it quickly. So we wanted to get forward with the images, but video is something. Again, no promises with AI, but it is something we're looking at for sure.
And then the other question that I think is a really good one, especially for some of our CPG clients or manufacturing clients, does it recognize other things like brand products?
Sorry, the facial
Facial
recognition.
recognition. It's just AI recognition of
Gotcha.
something, I guess, is the question rather than just faces.
Gotcha. So this one in particular is specific to facial recognition.
Yep.
You do kind of touch on something we'll get into a little later, though. So I'll save that.
Okay. There's one other question that I want to address, and I think, the question is the AI functionality built into your current subscriptions? The answer is no at the moment. Although we are taking what we call control availability or early access for facial recognition. So if you are interested, please talk to your customer success manager. But we are still figuring out how we need to package this. Obviously, there's costs to run and query against the LLMs. And so we're just making sure that we have enough revenue to cover that as well. Okay. So I'll let you go, Zach.
Thanks. I did see one about the AI summary working within proofs or comments added to tasks. So right now inside the projects, it will scan the tasks and comments. I know proofs we're still identifying some things on, but you kind of touch on it. The idea would be to expand that to more work items. And right now, it does a very high accuracy on those scans with the task and comments. Obviously, we're working to improve that. So there's some things we're looking forward to hearing your feedback on, like is sentiment from the comments valuable, right? Those are things we can show and we might, and
Mhm.
hopefully you'll tell us if we're right or wrong.
There's one other question is, will stakeholders have access to the AI insights? And if so, will we be able to control what level access they have?
Yes. So again, we are working through a lot of this right now, but the permissions will follow something similar to what our Litho customers are accustomed to right now. So we are going to build in certain levels of restrictions and access and authorization. So, not every freelancer would be able to come in and completely, change how your AI works, for example.
And I think you covered the proof one, right? When we use due dates on our proof task, we change them on a per proof basis. Would this be able to recognize if a proof was sent after the due date, even if the due date was changed 3 or 4 times on a project?
Yeah, so how the insights run right now is if there are big changes, it will need to rerun again and kind of re-aggregate that data. So AI isn't quite to the point where it just lives, constantly listening to what we're doing and looking for some updates.
Mhm.
We are building in some automation and looking at some smart notifications that we think will really help round that out.
Yep.
But definitely things where this is all moving very quickly. So, my answer could change this afternoon, but these are all things that we are keeping a very close eye on.
Okay, so 2 more questions. One I think I've already addressed. My Litho account doesn't look like this. This is a development environment.
Yes.
And so it's not available in general, ready, available capabilities at the moment. Facial recognition is in production. You have to talk to your CSM. We are controlling how many people we're putting in, how many accounts we're putting into controlled availability because we want to get feedback in a very short time frame so that we can actually make it more generally available. The last question that's here from Jonathan Hua is, in group settings, can the facial recognition be limited to a single individual, or will it do facial recognition on to all those in the image?
Yes. So right now it works based on the image. So this example I have here right now, I wouldn't be able to indicate like this gentleman on the front that I want his face searched. Right now, we would have to crop the photo to get it to search the individual one. But again, something we're toying with, trying to see what our level of accuracy on that would be. But I'm sure you guys have played with it. That is some AI capability that's out there that we're eager to enhance.
And there's a lot of interest in this one. Will facial recognition work with keywords instead of an image, such as skin tone or age?
Uh, That is a good question. I believe I believe no off the bat.
Mhm.
Right now, it's pretty restrictive to just the facial detection, and we kind of, let the AI figure that out with some restrictions. Um, I I won't speak too far on all the settings we're releasing because we're like right in the middle of discussing a lot of that stuff. But you've all touched on some things that we're talking about internally, so this is good for us to hear.
You guys are getting a sneak peek of product roadmap is really what Zach is trying to tell you. Okay, you want to go continue on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so all of this is great. Compliance does not stop with who is in these photos, though. So that's where the next feature we're going to talk about is really to address some of how these assets are evolving with the AI tools. It's a challenge we're all only going to continue to face, and it's going to be something that's prevalent with us. So we're going to take a quick look at how we're addressing that here at Litho. So version feedback, which is something Helen mentioned earlier, is, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinions, one of the biggest time sinks in the creative work, especially if you're jumping in, in the middle or the start or the end. Lots happening. You can really get lost in the noise very quickly. It takes some time to really get caught back up. This is where our AI twin reviewer is coming in to help save the day. So this is the most demo-y of demos I'm showing today. So this is very much a development environment. So what it's showing here, though, is our AI version comparison. You can see here I have two different versions. Over here on the left is my version 1, my original document, and on the right is the version 2, which is my updated document. In addition to that, I'm sure you're noticing these colored boxes around different things in the assets. So what is this doing? AI is scanning for visual changes. It's drawing those bounding boxes that detect, altered components or new components. And then over here on the right side, what you're seeing is a comment that ties back to that bounding box. And that comment is meant to leave top level feedback, right? What changed? What's the general confidence score on it? Did it go to a different location? Is this a brand new image or text? So it's the idea here is to give you a visual with the bounding boxes that highlight those things. You can see here we are obviously working on getting different versions in here. So it's great for 1 to 2 versions, but I'm sure we all deal with this. I've seen some of your accounts. We have 20, 30, 40, 50 different versions. So this is introduced to allow you to quickly come up to speed, quickly identify what those changes are, and have an articulate response in the form of these comments so you can jump right back into the review process. All right. Like I said, still under active development, but I think we're excited to show you this one because the vision's clear on this. What we're trying to do is get your teams to alignment faster without wasting a lot of time on the monotony of content marketing. Um, sorry, Helen, were you going to say something?
I was going to say there's a question in here from Amanda. Will OCR capabilities be on the product roadmap?
So again, we have already in development, we've already tested with some OCR capabilities. For those that aren't familiar, I won't get into a whole thing, but it at a high level, it's a little bit of a cheaper AI analysis scan, but the question is the quality still good? So, are you getting what you pay for kind of scenario? So we are testing it. It's definitely in our bucket of let's see where it's going. And if we can get high quality outputs at a OCR cost, we would love to do that.
Okay, so Scott then asks about this specifically, which is the digital twin.
Mhm.
Does this compare only 2 versions, or will it be able to compare more than 2 versions?
So it will be a side by side comparison, but you will be able to compare the different versions. So if I have 50 versions and on the left, I want to compare version 32 versus version 41, you would have that flexibility to select
So
the
all the
different
versions in
assets.
that project would be there.
All the versions. Yep. This is a demo environment. Not all the data is plugged in there. So work with me a little bit. But yes, if you have all your versions would be in there. This is likely going to be 2 different drop downs or however we'll break it down. But yes, I think we're caught up on questions.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. So once we got into the comparison and we noticed that these visual detection boxes, really we could go further with that and enhance that in other areas. So I'm going to show you how we take kind of the same general logic here to enforce our brand and compliance standards. So to set the scene a little bit, I'm sure we've all
Can
been
I just
in.
tell a story before you do that, Zach?
Absolutely.
I walked in and like one or two of the first presentation proofs that I was reviewing, we weren't in brand compliance, right?
Right.
So I was like, we need a brand comp. Help me, help me.
Right. Yeah. So I'm sure that is a very familiar story for many of us, even those
Yeah.
working here. So, um, and again, that's kind of where we get to our next point here, which is our brand police and compliance cop. What these are going to do for us is it is going to capture your brand and compliance standards, leverage AI to enforce those, and then apply those to your assets as you're working through the reviews. So we're going to switch over to our new review and approval environment. Some of you are on this. Some of you maybe are on the list to get on this. We're hoping to get everybody there soon. What this does, though, is this is an asset we've already run one of the agents on for, again, for time's sake. Um, it's wrapped a call to action button that I have here that's text specifically in a bonding box. It looks like that text is probably out of brand standard. I couldn't tell you what that font style
Yep.
is,
Yes,
but
it is.
definitely out of brand. So it's identified that there is a violation. It's wrapped that in a bounding box. And then over here, you can see that our brand police has left an analysis of what the violation is. It tells you generally what the flagged item is itself, and then it has the suggested fix. So if you're a designer or whoever is in here working on this, you can jump in, immediately get a summary of what the violation is and the actionable to do to go solve this violation. Over here, we also have looks like a footer was updated here. So you can see here we have a legal footer, and our compliance cop has also found a violation here. So it looks like our copyright year is outdated. We have some missing links, maybe some missing contact information, and then it has those suggested fixes for you to go handle that.
And this is where you'll judge for things like ADA compliance and those kinds of things as well, Zach.
Correct. Yeah. So one thing and to that point, so these brand and compliance guidelines, they're not based on a generic template that would be worthless. They're generated using your company's specific brand and compliance rule sets. So whatever you define that is on brand, whatever you define that is legally required, the AI is then going to go and enforce that.
So
So,
again, the question is who creates the compliance rules? The rules come from the client,
yes.
right?
Yes, the rules come from the client. We don't have a demo for you today, but we do have a working prototype that is a way to bring in your existing brand guides, your tones, all of your brand and compliance documentation types, feed it into our compliance and brand agents here, and then it goes and enforces all those rules for you.
The question here, and I think I can answer this one, is not that I'm the technical person, but does the brand compliance cop only work with the Lytho dam service? The answer is no. It works within the workflow organization or suite, which is here, which is review and approval. We're thinking about how it can also be composable to other dams as well.
Yes,
If
on the
you
brand.
uploaded a brand content document, could it do something similar for content and text? The answer is yes. Yeah. So your voice, your messaging, your taxonomy, your lexicon, whatever it is that you have, it will check for those things as well. Did you say that it checks for ADA accessibility compliance, such as color contrast and type size? The answer is yes.
Yep. So that's another one we've focused on and we're continuing to work. I think anyone, again, who works in that space know it's very nuanced. There's a general rule set that everybody follows, which is the AI does a really good job of. And again, the goal for all of this is we want high quality outputs for you guys. We want it to be accurate. We want it to be on brand and compliant. So as long as we're getting that, we're going to get you these features as quick as possible.
So, what does it say here? Did AI cop only works with tempo files? No.
Um, No, we're getting ready to obviously get this new review and approval environment out. So there's some nuances with it, but the idea here would be that the checks out of the gate would run inside of the review and approval. So whatever asset you have in there, that is what they are running on.
Okay. Who is seeing these errors, the designers, or does it go through the stakeholders? We haven't determined where it goes.
Yes. So that's another feedback we're eager to hear. So we'll have comments, we'll have some notifications. There's going to be, people who are need to be in the know will definitely know, and then we'll be all ears for who you'd like to be involved in that conversation as well.
Yep. Can clients rename the teammates? Probably. We haven't determined that, but we would like to keep our brand of these are just the first 6 that you're seeing today. We have a whole slew of them coming that I'll talk about in a minute. But there's a question here about is there a demo link? The answer is no, not yet. There will be demos available at Lythopia, which is happening in August. For those of you attending, outside of proofing, I see largely assisting with the dam. There are other teammates, as I've mentioned, in terms of what we're looking at from a workflow perspective and project management and those kinds of things. So sit tight. We're just giving you a sneak peek. Can you have multiple brand guidelines based on a unique product or channel?
That's a great question. So out of the gate, we identified that as a pretty high priority thing to be able to accommodate for multiple brands. So that is something that we plan to have ready to go.
Perfect. Are you any more questions from anybody? I had seed questions. I like, how it is hosting a webinar. I have one or two seed questions, but you guys have been coming up with great questions, so keep them coming.
Yes.
Any more thoughts, Zach, on product?
Just the last thing I'll say about this particular one, again, we're still in some active development on some of this. The biggest thing we're focusing on right now is we want to improve the UI so that you can run these checks and then you'll be able to actually acknowledge or dismiss those violations. So it keeps you as the human in the loop. We feel like that's really kind of that full circle moment with this. And I think, like sometimes you might have a brand guy, but you have that one-off task and it flags a violation. But again, as the human, we know that that's not really applicable in this scenario. So that functionality will allow you to come in, approve it, deny it without sending it off as a to-do for somebody else.
Will the brand and compliance they're two actual different things, just so you all know. One is branding, right? That's based on your brand guidelines, and compliance is the other. One thing I will call out on compliance, we are not stretching out to FINRA, SEC, those kinds of compliance levels unless you can provide the file. It's just that there's too much risk in that for us. So the things that we're talking about are things that we can control much more specifically. And will it be limited to a specific review tier? Again, we're working through where this sits and how it plays. But that's some of the feedback we'd like to get from people at Lythopia if you're coming. For those who don't want to use compliance cup and brand cup, can it be turned off? Yes, it is a toggleable. Is that a word? It can be toggled on and off. It's a configuration. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, just to wrap up, everything you've seen today is really just a slice of what we're building and what's ahead. So from our project management overlord to that twin reviewer, and from the dam librarian to those brand enforcers, these are just the AI teammates we're developing to help support your teammates. We really do believe that the future of AI isn't instead of your team. It's really AI as part of your team. So thank you guys. I appreciate your time. We are very eager for your feedback. So looking forward to all of that. Helen, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and I will hand this back over to you.
Okay. Now I have to make sure I have the right screen. You know what it's like.
It's important.
And I'm not in presentation mode, so you're going to actually see Helen operate at the same time. How's that? Okay. So again, as Zach said, we know that AI is not going to replace you guys. It augments you. It takes the low value, painful work that you have to do, like brand management, brand compliance out of the picture. It gives you insights and opportunities to move at a faster speed. They are supported, obviously, that by decision making. They support your decision making. They help automate some tasks, and obviously your brand integrity, because at the end of the day, brand is brand. So what's next? Sign up for early access of controlled availability for the facial recognition piece. We will be launching some of these in late summer, early fall. I'm pushing the product team as hard as I can to get something in August, but they won't commit yet. But that's okay, we'll get there. At Lythopia, which is August the 12th and the 13th in Raleigh, there's still space for you to register. We will share all of the teammates that we're planning to build as members of the Guardians of Creative Operations. I need music like dun dun dun. And so there's a QR code here for you to register for Lythopia. We'd love to see you there. We've got about 107 people coming already, customers coming already. We've got some great awards to give, and looking forward to seeing you all there. Thanks so much, and have a great day.